Hey everyone, this is Jim of From Scratch Farmstead, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple DIY farmhouse open shelf that you can store your cast iron pots and pans on. So if you are a homesteader or a food lover and spend a lot of time in the kitchen, you've probably collected a lot of pots and pans over the years. For us, we have a ton of cast iron. We have maybe like 6 cast iron pans, a couple of these big Le Creuset slow cooking dishes that we use. And so when we redid our farmhouse kitchen a year or so ago, we knew that this space right behind me was going to be the perfect spot for an open shelf where we could hang the pans from and store the pots on top of. And so today I'm going to show you a really simple design that we came up with of how to build that shelf. It uses really easy methods, easy materials. We salvaged some wood off an old wooden hay feeder, and it was starting to rot, and so we salvaged some of the good boards that were left, and so we're going to use that. It's nice solid hardwood. You could really use any lumber for this, even just pine or construction grade lumber, but we're going to use these boards that we salvaged and go with that. There's also these wrought iron brackets that we found and we really love the look of, and they're really sturdy, so we'll link in the description box below of where we got those from, but we're going to use these brackets to hang the shelves from. We also got these hooks that the pans are going to hang off of, so those will just screw into the bottom. And then I'm going to be joining 2 of these boards together. So I'm just going to be using pretty much a lag bolt. These are GRK screw that I'm going to use in the back side of it just to fasten those 2 together. And then we're also going to use a really basic method to finish and to seal the wood. It's called a soap finish, and you've probably never heard of a soap finish, but it's a very traditional way of finishing and sealing wood. We used it on all of the floors in our house, and it looks great. It's held up really well. It helps preserve a lot of the natural color and character of the wood. And so we'll mix up some of that. You basically just boil water, and then you buy soap flakes, which I can also link to the soap flakes that we used. But you just boil water, mix in the soap flakes, a certain ratio, and then you get basically a soap that you use, kind of a thick soap that you use and work into the wood, and it helps seal it off. It helps really bring out some of the natural tones of woods really well, and it's completely natural, completely safe for your family. No toxic fumes, no nothing. It's really awesome stuff. And so that's pretty much it. I'm going to go outside and start cutting some of the wood and getting the shelves together, and then we'll come back in and we'll install it. Alright, so I'm back from the barn and I have the boards cut and joined together. So what I did first thing was measure it out. These are 6 feet long. I wanted a 6-foot long shelf, so I cut them on a miter saw to 6 feet. Then I clamped the boards together as tight as I could with some bar clamps, and then went about drilling some pilot holes where I wanted these lag bolts to go in, those 8-inch GRK bolts to go in. And so I put 4 of those in to join the boards together. I drilled some small pilot holes first just to make sure I had a really straight hole going through, and then I put these guys in with an impact driver. I will mention it took a few tries to get them in. This is a really long bolt to get in. They kind of bore their way through on their own, but it took some work to get these guys all the way through, especially because this is white oak and it's really hard. If you're using a softer wood, it probably won't give you as many troubles as it gave me. But the finished product is great. These are solid and they are sturdy and together. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and finish our wood. I mixed up a bucket of our soap finish here, and again, we love this soap finish. It's just a really great natural finish option for wood. I'm going to put probably 2 or 3 coats in and let it really soak in, but this really seals the wood, brings out a lot of the natural tones and colors of the wood. Any oil-based finish that you use will almost certainly bring out a lot of yellow in wood, but this really preserves a lot of the lighter colors, the whites in wood, and so this should really make the white oak here pop. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started and apply a couple coats of the soap finish. so I just finished putting on a couple of coats of the soap finish. The boards are still wet with the soap, it's still soaking in, but you'll see once it dries, the soap really has a bleaching effect. The boards will come out even whiter than they were before. And have a nice light tone to them, which is what we're going for. So that'll take a little bit of time to dry off. I probably did two to three coats, and that will just continue to soak in and lighten it up as it dries here. Alright, so the next thing that I'm going to do then is go ahead and install the brackets on the wall, and then after that we're going to place the shelf, kind of figure out where we want our pots and pans to hang, and figure out where we want the hooks and get those installed, and then we'll put the shelf up. Alright, so we are back, and as you can see behind me, we have a finished shelf here hanging in our kitchen, and it turned out awesome, and we're super happy with it. So after I put the soap finish on the wood for the shelf, I then went and just hung these brackets on the wall first, because it's a lot easier to put up the shelf once you have the brackets hung. So I hung those, put them into a stud with 3-inch screws so they're nice and secure and strong. And then I went and put the shelf actually up on those brackets and kind of got the right layout for these pans here where we wanted them and staggered them a bit. And then I took the shelf off again, drilled pilot holes where those hooks were going to go, and then put the hooks in and basically hung the shelf back up, put it back up, and screwed it in, and there it is. So yeah, we're really happy with it. This is exactly what we were wanting, to kind of bring some order to the chaos of all of our pots and pans in the kitchen here. It's super practical. It looks really great. It's basically everything that we were hoping for in a shelf. It really only took me maybe a day total from start to finish for the project, and that was with kind of sanding down these boards, joining them together, and all the different steps then once we brought it into the kitchen here and got it hung up on the wall. So it's a really easy project to tackle. You can use really basic tools for it as well, just a couple saws and a drill and an impact driver, and that's really all you need for this one. It's a really easy project. So we hope that you enjoyed this video and it might give you some inspiration for your kitchen and your space. And thanks for stopping by the farmstead, and we'll see you next time.